Next.
Well, first the Islamic coins came into India by the Amirs of Sindh in the 8th century. And then regular coinage came after the Delhi Sultans came. And then they started in the 11th and 12th centuries. Of course, in our part, first Muslim country, Muslim kings to rulers was well. And then they ruled between 1347 to 1538. And then when it started, they revolted against Delhi Sultan Tughlaq. And then after disintegration of the Bahmani rule, then came in Bari Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Adil Shahi, Qutb Shahi, and then Asaf Shahi. And Ahmad Shahi was there in small area. So we only come to know about Islamic coins from Amirs, then from Delhi Sultans and so on. And then we'll show you that what beauty they added to the coinage and so on. Next. Muslim coins contributed greatly to the Indians. And then, what you like about that is they mention the year of make, mint's name, king's name, with his titles. And sometimes they even write their grandfather's name as well. Ahmad Shah fourth was there, Bahmani had 4 Ahmads, 3 Muhammads. But each one we could identify that coin because he mentions about one Ahmad Shah says that Humayun Shah is my father, bin Humayun Shah. So Ahmad Shah fourth is there. He mentioned his father's name, grandfather's name. So coin gives you such an amount of information and so on. And then first names, this of course I told you, Kubas and other things. Next. Next. And of course this also I told you that there. And then big legend is there in Islamic coins and so on. Next. And then this is about Aurangzeb and so on. And then he kept his Shah Jahan in the Agra fort, and then he killed 3 of his brothers, and then he started Dara, Murad, and Shuja. And then Mughal coins were so beautiful. You see Akbar's coin, Jahangir's coin, Shah Jahan's coins. You have got a kalima on that pious words from Quran is there. And Aurangzeb came on, he removed it. And just I will show you the coin and so on. Very second year he came on to the power, he removed that. And he seen that subsequent Mughal rulers never put the kalima and so on. And his idea was that the coins with the kalima will fall into the infidel Hindus and so on. So that's why he didn't wanted that and so on. But when it comes to Shah Jahan, Jahangir and Akbar, they were so liberal and so on. And then they had every one of the coin of the Akbar and all that. They had a kalima, but kalima was gone. Next. And then this is 1068. 1068, he had a kalima is there, Aurangzeb's coin and so on. And it was the second regular year and so on. Next. And then Mughal ruler 1068, Shah Jahan was deposed, and then Aurangzeb started rule. Murad Baksh was ruling some Gujarat area. Shah Shuja was ruling from Bengal, and Aurangzeb came up, and then next, and then you see that third year, regular year is there, third. And whole that kalima is gone. And from then on, no Mughal ruler ever put kalima on the coin of the Mughal. So this was the mindset of the Aurangzeb. Next. And then of course he had 2 coronations and so on and all that. This we come to know from the coin and so on. When did we remove? No history document is there and so on. From the coin, I know that by third year of his rule, then he very good. And even he declared his independence even before he put Shah Jahan to the fort. So he celebrated two combinations and so on. Next. And then of course when it comes to Bahmani, and then lot of things learned from coins which was not there in any Islamic literature. Next. And then you look at that coin and so on, of Muhammad Shah and so on. Muhammad Shah bin Bahman Shah. And bin's name is there, year is there in the pieces. So that, look at that coin and so on. His father's name is and the beautiful calligraphy and so on. And so much of history and so on. And exactly when he was there, Vijayanagar king was there. Next. And then Bukharaya. Only Bukharaya is there, Hanuman is there. But no other information at all. And you look at that Muslim coin, so much of good information for the historians and so on. Next. And Bahmani history, when you read, maybe is Perishta, and then that Masir is Gurane Masir, they are the sort of the Bibles for them and so on. But I found lot of mistakes in those. Perishta, lot of mistakes which were corrected by the coins and so on. Because Peristine, everybody says, oh, this is in Peristine only, it's just you can't tell. Then Peristine says that first king never issued coins and so on. But there are coins of even the pre-Bahmani ruler and so on. So from the coins we have come to so many things which were not there correctly in Muslim beliefs. Peristine and Guru. Next. And then Perista says there were 18 kings. That was the correct and so on. But Gurdjieff Master says only 14 kings were there. Last 4 kings were just namesake kings were there, not power and so on. But that's not correct. And fifth ruler was wrongly named as Mahmud, correctly named by him. So when you check all that and then wrongly mentioned that 4th king Dawood and 5th king Muhammad were sons of Alauddin. But that was not right. Correct and so on. So from the coins we could find a lot of mistakes which were there in Perishta and Guranamas. Next. And then give the correct year of accession of the rulers and so on and all that. Next. And then Perishta, this is the genealogy and so on. Next. And this is the genealogy of the Guranamas. And Abdul Khan was there, keeper of coins and so on. And then next, he corrected all those mistakes and then genealogy of the book brought out by the Wali. And that book is there, state government publishes that. And then so many mistakes which were there in the Perishta that they were corrected. Next. And then engravings, they show you that Ahmad bin Ahmad, then each one mentioning the father's name and all. Next. And other mistakes were there in the, and they said, Khalifa was coins which was not there. Next. And Kalimullah was listed as the son of Ahmad. He was the brother of Ahmad. And his father was Mahmud. So this kind of gross mistakes which were there in Perishta were corrected by the coins. Next. And then year is there, which means name here. Fatabad, Asanabad, Muhammadabad. Next. And Fatabad was Dawoodabad, Asanabad was Gulbarga, Muhammadabad was Peter. Next. And then some of those Ahmad-Shahid kings and so on, what they did was, later kings of Bahmanis were weak kings and so on. They countermarked Imam-Shahid. Next. They countermarked that Imam-Shahid king and so on. So that it means that those later kings of Bahmanis were not, real ruling. It was only Ahmad-Shahid kings who were really had their power. Next. Of course, chemical analysis I did extensively. They said earlier kings, copper was different from the later kings. Next. Next. So, when Shah Jahan came on, he wanted to take over the Qutub Shahi. And from then on, no Qutub Shahi king could put his name on the coin. Only Qutub Shah is there, his name is there on the coin. But later, the names were taken out and so on. So, the entire thing was under the control of the Mughals and so on. So, whatever Mughals did, they had to do that. Next. And then early king is there, Qutub Shah. Name is there also. Next. And then Abdullah, there is no Abdullah's name and so on. Only from the year we know that it is Abdullah's time. Abdullah ruled for a long time, but he couldn't put his name on the coin. Next. And then Asaf Jahi dynasty again. They had such a loyalty to the Mughals, never put their names on the coins. Only later kings put their initials, but even that too, not correct and so on. Next. And how do we find out the coins of the early kings of the Asaf generation? Next. They were so loyal to Mughals. Next. So you have got a coin of a Mughal ruler whose area was in Deccan. You know that is an Asaf Jahi coin. And this shows you that next. And later, of course, British dictate, and then after 1857, they listened to the British and whatever they did. Next. And this is how the contemporary rulers, Mughal ruler is there, and then Asaf Jahi, being that ruler, was the Muhammad Shah coin from Deccan, it belongs to Asaf Jahi. Nasir did the same thing and so on. So this is the list gives you that who was the Mughal king next. And then this is Muhammad Shah coin from Bijapur. And it was the Mughal's name, but it was Asaf Jahi coin. Next. And this is much important. Next. Next. And then there is a period came on in 19th century. The Asaf Jahi kings allowed officials, the Samsthan Perus, Gopalpet, Narayanpet, all those Madhurti, they allowed them, they took money from them, allowed them to mint coins. Minting coins was always the royal prerogative, but they given up and so on. So those coins are called Cheldi coins. So this is, Go is there in Devanagari. The entire coin is there, Shah coin. But Go is there, it is no, it is Cheldi coin of the Gopalpet. Gopalpet was a Samsthan in the Gopalpet district. Next. And then you have got Cheldi coins from Narayanpet and so on. So this they did for 30-40 years, these Asaf Jahi kings allowed this Manpati and all those, and then next. And so many mistakes were there in that, and then also quality of the coinage has come down and so on. And then government almost bankrupt. Then Sararjung changed that completely in 1857. Next. And this is Mahbub Ali Khan's coin, but this was never minted at all. He got it made. This impression was from Birmingham. Fellow, he asked him, but he never had the courage to issue his coin in his own name. Here you see that this is the only coin not issued and so on. It was only Mir Mahbub Ali Khan. Next. And then Nizam Usman Ali Khan came in. I only took little initial and so on. Just in that, you see that is Usman Ali Khan. Next. And then Usman Ali Khan came in, then he put his half iron and half iron was being mistaken for Mahbub Ali bean. Then within no time, he got all the coins melted, and then they issued the coins with a full iron. That earlier I showed you full iron. This half iron coin will be very valuable and so on. It is anyone has them and so on. Because only for a few months he was there. With a half iron he started. But then he realized that it was being mistaken for Mahbub Khan. Then he got them removed and so on. Next. And then here you look at that. This is Usman Ali Khan's coin and so on. 40th regular year. So he came to throne in 1911. 40th even means more than 1950, isn't it? 1948, September 18, yeah. Then he was out of power and so on. But still everything continued in the name of the Usman Ali Khan. This is a proof that whether coins, and when you ask historians, Mughal, all that, everything used to come out in the name of the Usman Ali Khan, even though the British was supposed to do, and from 52 onwards, it was the democratic government, Gurul Ramakrishna. So it's such kind of things we have come to know from the coins. Next. 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 Just what I was telling you. And occasionally I see a coin like this. Then I say, I can't read it all. Primary coins I wrote a book 40 years back. Then I said, this was a mistake in the mint and so on. He didn't say put that reverse thing and so on. Then why when they make it a reverse thing, isn't it? Then it comes out. Next. Then I asked my computer fellows, they immediately change that, reverse the mirror image and so on. They immediately know this is Abu Muzaffar Muhammad Shah Khan of Bayani Sultan and so on. So this was a mistake. Mistakes you don't usually see them, but they do happen. Next. Next. And of course another one was Farooq Sia's father name. He issued a coin. One side was Farooq Sia's name, another side was a different name and so on. That kind of a thing, interesting what we call the Mughal mule and so on. Next. Whenever interested in Mughal history, these are very important coins for a lot of his names. And this is the coin. Next. And this is Farooq Sia, you could read that and so on. But other side was a different kind of a dial. Next. So Mughal coins have been extensively studied, and every museum has got hundreds of them, thousands of them. And but a lot of information you get studied here. Next. Next. And wealth of information. Yes, for historians, I showed you that putting their name on the coin and the dates and all that. Lot of history we collectively know from study of the Muslim coins. And besides, of course, that calligraphy is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. So I think we stop here.
Yes, sir. After that,